All right, welcome, family, friends, citizens of the Do Hard Things Nation. Welcome to another episode of the Do Hard Things podcast. I'm your host, Jay Teagues, certified high performance coach, transformational mindset coach, leadership speaker, trainer, and just thank you so much for being here. If you're taking the time to listen to this, I just want you to know that I truly, truly appreciate you. This episode is brought to you by Do Hard Things Apparel, and smash that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. But I'm thinking a lot about the state of our nation, and how does the Do Hard Things Nation play a role in this? And what can we do? What can we do to help? Because the system that we grew up in our country as a whole, it just feels like a mess right now. It just feels like a mess, and it feels like it's falling apart at the seams. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that are hurting. A lot of people that I care about are hurting. They're in a lot of pain. And I think a lot of it stems from really poor leadership across the board. I mean, all the way across the board. I mean, we point to Washington, but I'm also talking about maybe at the state level, community level, and in the homes and people themselves, because in order to lead, you got to lead yourself first. And I think all of this is exasperated by the media, which is all designed to continue to invoke fear and distract us. And I feel like that we're living in a combination of the movie Idiocracy and The Matrix. If you've seen either one of those movies, it almost feels like we're living in the documentary of those films. But with all that said, with all the doom and gloom and everything, I'm also very optimistic about the future, because I truly feel that we can make an impact. Like this is maybe the first time that we have felt this being a mess, but throughout our nation's history, we've had periods of this. If you study history, I think it's our time. It's our time of hardship. And I truly feel, though, that we can make an impact. And I truly feel that we can live fulfilling and rich lives, and that we can, make our society and our nation better. But I think in order to do so, we all need to step up. We need to step up. And we need to make a choice to not just settle for good enough. And we need to not just accept the status quo. And that we realize that we can take an active role in riding the ship on this thing, but it's going to take all of us stepping up. And we can create our own destiny. We can blaze our own path. And if you're listening to this, I feel that you're probably someone that cares about yourself and your own contributions. And I know that you have greatness within you. There's unlocked, untapped potential within you and brilliance. And your contribution is valuable to not only yourself, but your family, to your society. And if we all untap that, if you want to strengthen the whole, you have to strengthen the individual parts. And that starts with the individual people, the individual person, and then the family dynamic. And then, within your local community. And I think that's how we overcome this, but it's going to take all of us having some ownership and stepping up in this. And so what is the Do Hard Things mission? And it's more than just selling a shirt that says Do Hard Things on it and going out for a 5K. It's more than that. The mission. So I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to share with you the mission, my vision, and break it down for you, so you have a better understanding of the why, what like drives me, and how we can make an impact on our society and our nation and the world as a whole. And so the mission of the Do Hard Things Nation is to develop a community of like-minded people who possess a growth mindset and who are actively pursuing meaningful goals. We help people achieve their highest potential while living a fulfilling life through grit, fortitude, and focus. We also encourage people to be actively engaged in their homes and communities by being role models and serving. So let's kind of break this down a little bit. I mentioned a community of like-minded people who possess a growth mindset. Well, let's talk about growth mindset and fixed mindset. So growth mindset, the definition is people with a growth mindset believe they can improve their skills and their knowledge. A growth mindset means you enjoy taking on new challenges. You're willing to put in the work to gain new abilities and increase your intelligence. If you have a growth mindset, you believe you can change your story. A fixed mindset, well, it's kind of the opposite. It's the belief that people are born with innate traits or abilities, and people who have a fixed mindset don't believe they can improve themselves very much. Very limited ability. They don't really enjoy challenge because failure makes them feel unintelligent or inadequate. People who have a fixed mindset tend to achieve less because they don't put in the work to learn new things, and they also worry about failing in front of others. Individuals can have a growth and fixed mindset. Organizational cultures can have a fixed mindset. And organizations that have a growth mindset, here's some commonalities between them. They tend to hire from within. They place importance on passion and potential within the organization. They believe and they invest in personal growth and development, and they encourage risk taking. Fixed mindset cultures depend on pedigree during the hiring process. They hire outside more often, and they depend on a few key or star employees rather than welcoming everyone's contributions from within. And ultimately, research shows that companies with a growth mindset, they have happier employees and more innovative cultures. So having a growth mindset, whether it's individual or an organizational culture, it ultimately leads to self-improvement. It leads to innovation. It leads to more abundance and more happiness and fulfillment. Now, the greatest thing about having a growth mindset is that it can be cultivated and grown within individuals and organizations. But first and foremost, you have to have an awareness of what that is. And there's a great book on the topic called Mindset that if you haven't read it, I would highly encourage you to read that book. So ultimately, what we want to do is encourage and create a community of people that have a growth mindset. And that's important. The second thing that I want to talk about, well, I kind of mentioned grit, fortitude, and focus. We help people achieve their highest potential while living a fulfilling life through grit, fortitude, and focus. So let's break down grit. Grit is firmness of character. It's the indomitable spirit to achieve. Angela Duckworth describes it as perseverance and passions for long-term goals. Passion is the intense emotion for something meaningful, and grit enables you to push through when things get really hard or challenging. Grit is something, if you read Angela Duckworth's book, Grit, she talks about it. It's one thing that can also be cultivated, no matter what your socioeconomic status, what your sexual preference is, what your gender is. Grit is something that you can develop. Hence, why doing hard things and that mantra of pushing through is so incredibly important. It's a muscle that can be developed. So we talked about grit. Let's talk about fortitude. Fortitude is the strength of mind that allows one to endure pain and adversity with courage. The one common denominator with all of this is that, well, there's basically two things. There's 24 hours in a day, and there's also incredible suffering, hardships, and adversity for every single person. I have yet to meet a person that has not had suffering, hardships, or adversity. Fortitude enables us to push through, face the pain, and endure it with courage, which is something else that can be developed with grit. It goes hand in hand with grit. And then finally, focus. Focus is being clear, and it's the center of interest and activity. We talk about high-performing habits. If you ever hear me talk about it, I talk a lot about clarity. Clarity is like a foundational pillar. You've got to get clear on what you want, who you are, and it's not an easy thing to do, but with clarity, that enables you to have extreme focus on the things that matter, enables you to set boundaries so you can not get distracted and get things done. Focused attention is the brain's ability to concentrate on a target stimulus and concentrate its attention on a target for a period of time. It's sustained attention. And we live in a society where we are so incredibly unfocused. We are trained and conditioned with all the screens and technology and all of the abundance of dopamine, all the entertainment that we've basically created neural pathways that are constantly requiring us to get that next dopamine hit, which is causing us to be unfocused and distracted. And this is also something that requires some level of attention. And it's one of the things that that we talk about a lot is staying focused and creating boundaries around things that take your attention away. So, you know, in order to strengthen the whole, we have to strengthen the individual parts. Grit, fortitude, and focus are incredibly important. Now let's talk about do hard things. It's more than just a simple mantra. Let's just break down do. What does do mean? Well, it means take action. And you can be on the right track. So you can have all the clarity in the world. We just talk about focus. But if you just sit there, you're going to get run over. And everything is ultimately in the execution. And pitfalls that people have are they overthink and they overanalyze. I tend to do that from time to time. I'm far more aware of it than I used to be. But this is a common trap for a lot of people, overanalyzing too many options. The one thing about this amazing abundant society we live in is there's almost too many options. But it's burning the ship. It's putting it out there that, hey, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to take action and take steps toward it. And like I said, the pitfalls are that people overthink it. They overanalyze too many options. They wait till things are perfect, or they're just ultimately paralyzed by fear. They're paralyzed by the opinions of someone else. They're paralyzed by the fear of failure. And, high performing people take action, even when it's not perfect, and they make adjustments on the go. They build the plane in flight. Seth Godin says, just ship it. Just ship it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just got to get it out there. So do is simple as that. Just take action. You have to actually do the hard things. You got to take action. All right, let's break down hard. Hard actually has a meaning. It's broken down into 4 things. Every letter stands for something. It's a mnemonic: health and wellness, affluence and wealth, relationships, and development. Let's talk about health and wellness. So your body's your power plant. It's the vehicle that you have to get things done. Your health is everything. If you don't feel well and you don't feel good, you're not going to get things done and you're not going to be happy and fulfilled. And health is broken down even further. It's basically your exercise. It's movement of the body. It's your nutrition. It's what you eat, how you fuel your body. It's how well you hydrate yourself. It's sleep. It's stress management. And I'm going to say your mindset, your cognitive ability, your mindset in that space. So how are you managing your health? Are you being intentional and making it a priority every day? And so that's one of the pillars that we talk about. It's one of the lines of effort in the Do Hard Things Nation is being intentional with your health and wellness every day. It's hard to maintain balance in all these things, and you don't have to have it perfectly right, but I'm just saying have awareness and do something with intention to improve your health each and every day. Because oftentimes people wait until it's too late. They wait till they go to the doctor. The doctor's telling them they've only got 2 years to live, or if you don't change your way immediately, you're going to die soon. And then they want to make a change. No, my friend, you got to make a change now. You got to roll them all the way. So, and the problem in our society is it's just too easy to eat like crap. It's too easy to not exercise. It's easier to drink soda than it is to drink water. We are an incredibly sleep-deprived society. We're not getting enough sleep at night. We're watching too much TV at night or scrolling our phones, not getting enough sleep. We're not managing our stress. We're overworked. We're not taking vacation. We're not taking that breakout time for ourselves to enjoy our hobby. And we're not taking care of our mindset. Now, I'm generalizing here. I'm just saying our society as a whole, but the Do Hard Things Nation, we focus on our health and wellness. All right, next line of effort, affluence and wealth. What does affluence mean? Well, it's the abundance of property and wealth. An affluent person, by definition, is wealthy, rich, having goods, property, money, and abundance. Now, everyone can define this in their own way. And a lot of people have a negative mindset when it comes toward money or people with money. And this is a scarcity mindset. We teach an abundance mindset. There's enough for everyone out there. And the bottom line is this: money provides freedom to do what you want and to serve and give. And that's scalable to everyone. So my question to you is, do you have the abundance and wealth you desire that provides you the freedom that you desire? And if not, are you deliberately working to that end? So let's break that down. I guess we can describe wealth. I mean, the bottom line is, do you have active income, trading time for money? Do you have passive income, things that are generating income without you being fully present? Do you have like your affairs in order? Do you have insurance in the event that something goes wrong? Do you have your affairs in order? Do you have a will? Do you have an advance directive? Do people know your wishes, know what to do if when you're not here? Earlier this year in the Forge, we had a series. It was like a 6-week series about just being prepared. We worked through a book called "I'm Dead, Now What." It's basically a book that if something were to happen to you, it's got all your passwords in it. It has your wishes in it. It has, now this is not a legal doc. It's not a legally binding document. You need to go get a will. You need to go get an advance directive. But it's a book that your family could work through and figure out where everything's at. Do you have cryptocurrency? A lot of people are very unfamiliar with how to get into that. But there could be a lot of wealth in there. Does your family know how to access that wealth? Do you have all your properties? Do people know how to access that? Do they know if you have an accountant or your tax preparer, like all of that information handy? Does your family know where that is? Maybe you got a collection of guns or a collection of jewelry or something like that. Who gets what? Oftentimes I've seen it where people haven't had the conversation. They kick the bucket. And then during this time of grieving, everyone is like fighting over the inheritance because they didn't have the tough conversation. So are your affairs in order? And the pillars of personal finance are assets, debts, income, expenses, and having a good handle on those things. So that's affluence and wealth. It's a topic a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it enables your freedom. And just, when you're not feeling abundance, when you have financial stress, it's a dark cloud. It's a dark cloud in your life. But there are systems, there are methodologies, and there are people that can help you with that. All right, next line of effort, relationships. Relationships, so incredibly important. The greatest human desire is to feel loved and appreciated. Relationships, they kind of give us a sense of purpose and a feeling of being alive. We'll do more for other people than we will ourselves. And being aware. Now, I'm an introvert, so I do value my own space as well. However, we need deep, rich connection with people. I'm talking about like deep, meaningful connection with others. And so being aware of who you spend time with and how intentional you are in that time is so incredibly important. You're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So taking inventory of who you're spending time with is incredibly important. And it's also relationship. It's your relationship with God. It's your relationship with the universe. It's the relationship with your romantic partner or spouse. It's your relationship with your immediate family or even extended family. It's your relationship with friends. It's your relationship with coworkers and the team. So how are you showing up with intention every day? Are you present and are you engaged? And oftentimes, I think of back when I was incredibly unhappy or felt lonely. I wasn't as present or engaged with people. And as an introvert, sometimes I got to get out of my own shell sometimes and go make the effort, and always have that intrepidation sometimes of going to that party. But then when I get there, it feels really fulfilling when you're around good friends and good people. And your success will ultimately be determined by, your friendships. I think it's the millionaire mind. The number one factor for someone's success is their relationship with picking the right partner to do life with. And also the amount of people that you could call at 3:00 in the morning who would drop everything to be there to help you. So that's incredibly important. All right, finally, development. D, do hard things. The D, growth. Development is growth. And growth is the expansion of capacity, capability, and understanding. So how are you developing yourself? If you're not growing, you're dying. Tony Robbins says that all the time. And growth is as significant as feeling loved. We need to have the feeling of growth. Now, growth comes with its own level of hardness, right? It's not an easy thing to grow. It requires work to grow. So think of the most important and most satisfying periods of your life. Oftentimes they were tied to learning a new skill or overcoming a challenge of some kind where you knew that there was growth. Doesn't it feel good when, someone asks a question and you're the one that knows the answer because you've done some study in this field? Doesn't it feel good when you're capable and able to help someone because you have a skill that you learned? It's incredibly important. So if we're not growing, it will lead to the feeling of unfulfillment. So developing and growing is incredibly, incredibly important. And once again, we live in a society where there's so much comfort, and we'll naturally gravitate toward comfort, and we will forego the work that's required to grow. So just remember that growth is as significant as feeling loved for humans. And so how are you growing? So the hard, like we teach, is that every day you're doing something deliberate with your health and wellness. You're doing something deliberate with your affluence and wealth. You're doing something deliberate in your relationships. You're doing something in your development, whether it's taking a course, listening to a podcast, reading a book, and just being intentional in those areas. All right, let's talk about things. Do hard things. Well, things. What are the things? We're doing the hard things. Well, that's taking on the meaningful pursuits. It's doing the things that are meaningful. And when you do things that are meaningful and you actually pursue it and you overcome it, it feels fulfilling. And one of the first things that you need to do is to develop that growth mindset. And the first thing that you can do is think about, your negative self-talk. We all have limiting beliefs and self-talk. The reason for personal growth and development is that we can mitigate some of that and pivot. And this is a practice, just like learning jujitsu is a practice. I think that having a growth mindset is also a practice. You're not going to get it all in one night. It's something that requires constant attention. But one of the first things that you can do is change your self-talk. Replace negative words like I can't with yet. I can't run a 5K. Okay. Well, replace that with I haven't yet developed the fitness to run a 5K yet. That sounds different than I can't do it, right? Just changing the mindset. I can't improve my whatever skill it is versus I haven't reached my goal yet. So say you're trying to improve your skill. Say you're trying to improve your skill as a public speaker. Well, I can't speak on stage. I haven't improved my public speaking skill yet. It's terrifying to me. Well, no, it's not the case. It's just I just haven't reached my ability to effectively, what I perceive to be effectively, speak on stage. So replace I can't with I haven't yet. And when you start to do this, you'll start to see possibilities rather than obstacles. Okay, so this is incredibly important. The next thing, visualization. The more you see it, the more confident you're going to be at achieving them. So see yourself achieving your goals. This will enable you to take charge of your mindset and emotions and focus on what's most important. And it helps you reduce distractions. So having like a vision board, going through like a meditative visualization process is incredibly important. You got to see yourself winning. And by doing that, you're going to start taking action steps to get to that end. The positive state that you're going to create by visualization will increase the odds of achieving what you want. And then ultimately, facing your fear. Doing the hard things means facing your fear, overcoming your fear of failure. Embracing failure is part of the process versus avoiding it. Speaking up when you're unsure of things. Asking questions, even if you think that someone might make fun of you. If you have a strong feeling or opinion about something, speak up, despite what others think about it. And take that bold action. Fear is just part of the human dynamic, but high performers look at fear a little bit differently. And the more that you face your fears, the more confident you're going to become. And so all of this ultimately enables us to live life on offense, taking an active role in the pursuit of living a fulfilling life and getting things done, as opposed to a passive way of living. And I think our society in general, by and large, is living a very passive life. But we need people to step up and lead and be the role models that our country desperately needs. Our country desperately needs people to step up. And I know that all of us have greatness within us. I truly feel that despite the challenges that we have in our nation, that we can rise above it, and we can overcome this. But it starts with us as individuals. If you want to strengthen the whole of the nation, we have to strengthen the individual parts. That starts with strengthening the individual. Then you start to strengthen and influence those around you in your home, your partner, your family. Then taking an active role in your community. Maybe it's serving on the school board. Maybe it's, just going out to vote in your local your local election, because local elections are down. Like, the participation rate is incredibly low. It's abysmal. Everyone's participating in the federal election. Everyone's yelling at Washington, D.C. when you can make an impact in your own community. If you're expecting Washington, D.C. to come down and save you, here's the thing. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to help. And the only way that we're going to get out of this mess is by taking ownership, controlling what we can control. You can go on Facebook and scream, type in all caps. That doesn't do a damn thing. But what you can do is you can get up, you can work out, you can read, you can improve your finances so you can serve and give, you can develop yourself, be the role model for your partner, be a role model for your family, get involved in your local community and step up and serve that way. And that's what our country needs. And that's what the Do Hard Things Nation is all about. So the Do Hard Things Nation, like I said, our mission is to develop a community of like-minded people who possess a growth mindset, are actively pursuing meaningful goals. We help people achieve their highest potential while living a fulfilling life through grit, fortitude, and focus. We encourage people to be actively engaged in their homes and communities by being role models and serving. So that's what we're here to do. So if you want to be a part of the Do Hard Things Nation, there's numerous ways you can support. You can go to the apparel shop, grab yourself some Do Hard Things merch, continue to subscribe and listen to the podcast, share it with your friends. If you're not part of the newsletter, get yourself on the newsletter and go to dohardthingsnation.com, join the newsletter, send out events. We're going to be having some in-person events, some more virtual events. And if you're ready to take the next step, you want to get around a community of like-minded people holding each other accountable. We have the Forge, which is a mastermind community. And we'll also be having, if you're looking for a speaker or a live workshop for your organization to teach growth mindset topics, teach topics that we talked about today or other high performance topics, I'm here. I'm here to do that. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen today. And we have a long way to go, but I'm truly optimistic for the future. Despite all the hardships, we can right the ship. Let's do hard things. Let's make an impact. If you're listening to this, I appreciate you. And let me know what you thought about today's episode. Make sure you subscribe, share. And in the meantime, keep doing hard things. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you for listening to today's episode of the podcast. If you like this podcast, be sure to subscribe so you're notified of future episodes. I would also love to know, what is your takeaway? What insight did you get from today's episode? You can screenshot this, send it to me on social, post it on social, tag me, and when you share like that, someone else out there may need to hear this message today. Only 10% of people are engaged in personal growth and development, and there could be a nugget here that could put someone on a positive trajectory. So feel free to share that, tag me in it, send me a direct message, send me an email, let me know what your thoughts are. And you can connect with me on all social media. You can send me an email at j@jteeks.com. Take a moment, leave a review on iTunes. No matter if you're listening to Spotify or any other platform, like iTunes, I guess, is the gold standard for reviews, and it really goes a long way for the algorithm for people searching for personal growth and development, and it helps us go a long way. It means a lot to me that you took a couple minutes to do them. I read through all of them, and it just feels good knowing that this show is impactful. So if you gain any value, just ask that you do that. If you want to level up, you want to take the next step in your personal growth and development, you can go to jteeks.com, jaytiegs.com. We got a variety of options. We got one-on-one coaching, high performance coaching through the High Performance Institute, certified high performance coach. We've got a few different curriculums that I take people through. I also do group coaching. If you have an organization that needs a speaker, or you want a live workshop, I can come in and deliver some training to you and your organization. We also have the exclusive Forge Mastermind group that is an elite community of like-minded people that are growing together. And we have a weekly call there, and we're going to be rolling out new content for that. And then also we got apparel. So we've got go to dohardthingsapparel.com. Get you a Do Hard Things shirt. Show the world that you do hard things. We got hoodies over there. We got hats. We got stickers. We got patches. A variety of different things, and we got a variety of different models coming out. So go, you can show the world that you do hard things, and you can go over there and support us that way. That'd be great. So in the meantime, thank you so much for listening. Keep doing hard things. We'll see you guys in the next episode.